What's going on, YouTube? It's been a while since I've seen you. It's Mark IV Modder coming at you to do the final review for my airlift suspension system that I put on my car, I'd say, what, 2-3 months ago maybe? If you've been watching my videos, you've seen the how-tos, how to put it in, all that stuff. I talked a little bit about a kind of pre-preview of how I felt about the whole system. But now I'm all in. I've been driving it around, and so far, let's just say I'm absolutely loving my new suspension. So here I am. It's time to do the final review of my airlift suspension. I put on Airlift Slam Series bags and used their 3P controller setup. So first thing first I want to talk about is going to be ride quality. It's going to be the first thing you're going to think about when doing any kind of suspension change. And so far, I am absolutely enjoying the ride quality of this setup. It's not as stiff as the springs I used to have, but it's not as soft as, like, say, a regular stock suspension. But it's definitely nice, crisp, very well handling, takes turns great. Overall, I give it like a 10 out of 10. I have no beef about it whatsoever. It is a little bit bouncy. You don't get that stiff bounce that you would do with springs. That's so jarring, it actually hurts your back sometimes. But overall, it gives a little bounce. Especially there's certain spots going down the highway and the car is kind of bouncy and you're kind of bouncing up and down. Kind of like riding around on a couple beach balls, I guess, which basically you are. So for the ride quality, it's great. And if you want to change it, you can just air up a little bit or air down a little bit. Depending on how much air you have in the bags is going to depend on how rough or soft the car rides. So second, I want to talk about handling. The car handles great. The lower it is, the better it handles. It also handles well at higher PSIs, running like a stock height of like 75 PSI. It handles pretty good. I don't get a whole lot of body roll like I used to back on the stock suspension or even with the lowering springs. The one big thing that I did that changed the handling a little bit was the removal of the front sway bar. And we discussed this in earlier videos about whether or not it's safe to do it or not. It's kind of up to you. You take the chance. My overall experience with the handling of this suspension and the removal of the front sway bar is honestly the only thing you get out of it is you get more oversteer and less understeer. So, you know, back sitting on the springs, I'd take a corner and this thing would just completely understeer. It'd want to go straight. The body roll was kind of terrible. It didn't really grab into the corners like it does now. Removing that front sway bar, it totally changed it from an understeer situation to oversteer. Me personally, I like the oversteer. I like it to bite in the corner and go around quick. Now on slick roads, maybe in snow, it might be a little more difficult to handle. If you bite real hard, the back end's going to spin out on you and you're going to be going around in circles. But if you know how to handle that kind of stuff, take that sway bar out. It's freaking useless, man. It makes it handle like a boat. Pulling that sway bar out was the best thing I ever did for the handling of this car. I absolutely love it. It drives, it corners nice. It's really, overall handling, great, 10 out of 10. Third thing we're going to talk about, ease of install. The Airlift Slam Series kit is pretty easy to install. I did screw up some stuff, which you saw and we talked about in earlier videos. But it's more, I had never done it before, so it was kind of doing some modifications and different things like that really I got screwed up on. So if you're anyone mechanically inclined, it's super easy to do. Just prepare to maybe screw up a little bit on the slight modifications you have to do to install the kit onto your car. Some cars require more mods than others, some require none, just straight bolt-on. So as far as ease of installation, I give it about a 7. Just because I ran into some problems. Most of them were my fault. In the end, if you have issues, contact Airlift Support. They're great over there. They help me out, as you know, on my air tank leak issues. So if you run into install issues, don't be afraid to call them. Those guys are there to help, and they will help you out and get you through and get your air ride installed. Number 4, let's talk about the controller of the system, the 3P air management. We got the controller right here. This thing is pretty darn sweet. I absolutely love this thing. About the size of like a Gen 2 or 3 iPod maybe. Nice big screen, real easy to read. Buttons are real easy to hit. Nice and clicky. Can't really hear it, but they do click rather nice. There is a Bluetooth mode that comes with this as well. You can hook it up to your phone. Use your phone as the controller. So they have a show mode too. You can use your phone to control the controller while the car is off to raise or lower it. I think it's for 1 ignition cycle. I haven't used it yet, but I do plan on doing so shortly. The controller itself, it comes with, let's see, 5 presets that you can put in there. And they're the middle buttons, starting at the top, going all the way to the bottom. The middle button that says Airlift is a button. That's your normal ride button. The way I have mine set up is my normal everyday ride height is 50 psi front and back all the way around. The very bottom button down here is going to be my air out, 0. This one's my low. I think I have that set to like 40 psi front and back. 50-50. This one is 75 in the front and 65 in the back. And then this button here is supposed to be an all-up button. But I found actually after using it for a while that what it does is when you press and hold, the whole car goes up. All 4 corners. So it doesn't really have like a preset pressure that it goes to. You just press and hold the button and it goes up until you let go. So when reading the instructions on these, the controller said to go to a preset, you have to double click and the car will raise or lower or whatever you have it set to. But what I find is you actually almost have to 3-click it. Click once, it'll display what the PSI is set to go to, and then you double click it and bam, you're there. And for the air out, that one I find it doesn't work on a double click. No matter how many times I sit there and try to double, triple click it, it doesn't go. I have to actually press and hold the button for it to air out. And that might be a safety issue, just to make sure that, hey, you're not moving or anything crazy like that, because you don't want to be in motion while you're trying to air out. But other than that, it's pretty easy to use. There are buttons on the sides that independently control every corner. So you use those when trying to set up your presets. You can individually air up each bag, get them all set, save your preset in there, and you're good to go. Other than that, I never use them. I have the controller set to automatically maintain a set PSI. So if I have my 50-50 ride height set on and I'm driving around and one of the PSIs get a little wonky in one of the bag, it automatically adjusts. And I find it usually waits till I'm stopped to do so. I've never had it adjust on me while moving automatically. It always waits till I'm like at a stoplight or a stop sign, and then all of a sudden you'll feel the car kind of bump a little bit. You'll feel the PSI go up or down. Another cool thing that I like about the controller, as I'm ranting on here, is the display. And it displays all 4 corners and active PSI for each one. So as you're driving the car, you can see your PSI go up and down depending on whether you're cornering, braking, accelerating. So it's kind of neat to see how the PSIs actually adjust and raise and lower in the bag as you drive. They're not always constant. You set it to kind of maintain a certain PSI, but it's always going to go up and down depending on whether stress is on the bag or not. And last but not least, just the quality of this controller. I mean, it's just, the back's aluminum, the screen's real nice, it's bright, the buttons are clicky. Real awesome controller. So with the control factor of this kit, I give it a 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this thing. Super cool, super easy to use. Love every minute of it. It's also kind of looks cool. People ask, what's that sitting on your dash? Oh, that's my Airlift controller, and then you get to show them how it works. So that's kind of fun. So overall, final thoughts of the Air Ride system is, if you can afford so, do it, man. It's totally worth it. I enjoy every minute of it. It's just neat to have. Running in any kind of situations where you need to be raised up, you can do so for comfort. Slam it down, it shows. It's just, you can do whatever you need to do with it. Well, there's my final thoughts on the Airlift suspension kit that I bought. Absolutely love it. and I'm looking forward to seeing how it performs in the future. I'll do constant updates if I run into any issues, leaky bags, you know, busted pop bags, maybe, you never know, compressor failures or anything. I hope none of that happens, but you never know. So if I run into issues like that, I'll be sure to do an update later on. I do got a show coming up this weekend, Northern Worthy in Frankenmuth, Michigan. I'm looking forward to going to that. It's the first show I've actually been able to get to this year. So hopefully I'm going to do a lot of video and a lot of photos, put that up. I'll probably have a video to throw up on the channel. So looking forward to doing that, and look forward to seeing you all next time. But thank you again for watching. This is Mark 4 Modder. Until next time, keep on modding.